Coach, how about an opening statement about last weekend's preparations for this weekend's games?
Well, it was good to take a week off. We had an opportunity to kind of get a couple guys healthy. We had some guys that were kind of beat up a little bit from the first two ball games. Nothing really serious, but it did allow us to kind of reevaluate and make sure that everything is the way we want it to be, and our focus is where it needs to be. So it was good to take that week off. This week we got Alabama State, who is a really good program, really good football coach who does an exceptional job of not only coaching but also mentoring young people. So it's first game in the conference, which is exciting, for our kids and our coaching staff, and we're looking forward to this opportunity.
Let's take a look at Alabama State. Talk about, first of all, I'm going to go back to the first game with Tuskegee. It seems like their defense is a lot more tenacious this year.
Yeah, they've always been very, very good on the defensive side of the ball. And this year is no different. Of course, they played a really good Kennesaw State team, but that's a different type of game, when you're playing option football. But they do an exceptional job of really stopping the run, but then also limiting what you do in the passing game as well. So very, very good football team, but also very physical and really get after you.
Talk about the job that their coach had to do. He came in middle of the year last year, and it seemed like the kids really rallied around him. I think they only lost one ball game in the second half of the year, and that was to you guys at their place. And he's come back in this year, and kids seem to still be bought into what he's preaching over there. How tough of a job do you think that is for him to come in mid-season and then try to just sort of turn the program around?
Well, any job you take it's tough, but if there's ever any type of easier way, it's a little bit easier when things are not going well, and you step into a situation because everyone's looking for answers, and they're going to always listen. Anytime you're in a situation where things are not going well, you're going to always get a group of young people that are listening. So. And that's the first step when it comes to being successful is having guys that are listening to what you want to do. But don't get me wrong, it's not easy. But he's done a really good job. He's continuing to grow that program, and he's doing it the right way. Foundationally, focusing on commitment, discipline, and all of those things which are important, for building a really good program.
I know you said that it doesn't matter where you guys play. Is it maybe a little bit nice and the kids excited for the first home game of the season?
It is. Of course, you want to play in front of your home crowd. You want to, have an opportunity to sleep in your own bed, which all of that really helps and matters. We like to just play the game of football, wherever it is, but it does give you a little bit, better feel, to play it at home.
You mentioned got some guys back healthy. Obviously, Percy's the first name that comes to my mind. Or who are all those guys that you'll be able to have at your disposal on Saturday?
Percy will be back with us, and just a couple other guys. They still played, but they needed a little bit of a break. So it wasn't like they were out. But he was the only one that really got hurt. And was fortunate to be back with us. So we're looking forward to him coming back with us, and also Dan Fields. Coming back and playing for us in our secondary, which are two guys that have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and really, kind of give us, a little bit older guys in the back end. But we're glad to have everyone, the way that everyone is right now. Had a really good practice last night. Practiced extremely hard, and there was extreme focus, for this week's ball game.
I think I remember seeing Khalif too on the sidelines.
Yeah.
A little banged up, but I'm doing a story on him. What have you liked from him so far this season?
Khalif has been a pleasant surprise. He does a really good job in our running game, blocking and solidifying the edge, making sure that we can run the football effectively, whether it's between the tackles or on the outside. And then he's highly intelligent. So we've been very, very pleased with his addition to us. And he gives us a little more depth, at our tight end position, which is something that we need, especially when we want to do, different things with two tight ends in a ball game and things like that.
When you look at the running backs, of course, Kevin Dominique is the guy that got quite a bit of the load. Talk a little bit about him and what he's been able to bring to the running game.
Well, he's a really good football player, but he's young, and that's the thing that we've kind of focused on in the last 2 or 3 weeks is You know, we're young at certain spots, you know, where we've normally been, you know, very, very seasoned. And, you know, quarterback and running back have been two of those positions that we've had to replace. Very, very talented, you know, young man, you know, but he's also, you know, a young man that has to learn a little bit more as well. So he's doing extremely well. He's playing well for us. Of course, we want a little bit more production out of that particular room, and I think we'll get that.
Will we see Jordan Jones and DeSharius Flowers this weekend?
You'll definitely see Jordan Jones. DeSharius is working his way to get on the field. You know, we just don't allow guys just to go on the field. You know, they have to earn it, and those guys have been working extremely hard, you know, to get there.
How tough is it for those guys who, especially like a guy like Jordan Jones, who's been a pretty big contributor the last couple of years? I know it was at a different position, but for him to just have to stay on the sideline and cheer his teammates on, how do you just sort of keep him fully engaged in that process?
Well, it's one of those situations that's part of the game. You know, all of us, you know, have jobs, and it's up to you to do your job to the best of your ability. You know, there are others waiting. You know, so he's no different, but he's been very, very mature about the situation, and you know, those guys understand, you know, that in order to play, you have to perform, and those guys have been working to do that. So we're looking forward to get them out there.
You mentioned having a good practice last night. Does it seem like the team just kind of is coming to every practice with a fresh mindset going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we know that we haven't played our best football, and we know we have a much better team than what's been reflected the last couple of weeks. But you know, when you go out to perform, you know, you have to perform on that particular stage, and you know, just doing it in practice is just not good enough. So our guys understand that, you know, and they've been talking and making sure that they get with each other to make sure that they're ready to go. So I'm excited about, you know, what we're doing and what we're planning to do.
When you look at Alabama State on offense, what does a quarterback bring to the table? I know he's been one that he can throw the ball pretty well.
Well, he's the same guy from last year, you know, athletic guy, run around a little bit. He can throw it a little bit, left-handed guy. You know, they got two really good backs, you know, that run the football effectively for them. So, of course, we're going to have to stop the run first. Then we're going to force him into situations where he has to beat us with his arm. And I think that's probably the recipe is to try to force him to do some things that, you know, normally he's uncomfortable doing.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right.